That's the hard one.
Go live. There's steps everywhere.
Live.
There we go.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
We did it.
We did it. We've just got one more coming up.
Which one?
Right over here.
Oh, there it is.
Well, welcome everybody to Monday Night Live.
Yes, the best night of the week.
Best night of the week. And I'm going to go over here to Instagram. I just have to make one minor adjustment. Oh, hopefully.
You guys, and I know sometimes we let you in on this. You would be just tickled pink to see all the steps we go through to get Monday Night Live off the ground.
Well, especially with having all the different formats. Well, we are excited. So we've got, as always, we talk about all the different feeds that we're pulling up. We got YouTube over here.
YouTube.
We got Kate's feed over here.
What up, guys?
We got Instagram in the middle and my feed up top and TurningLeaf's feed over here. So we've got all these different platforms. And then you've got me trying to push buttons. Thankfully, Kate keeps us on track. Well, we are excited to come with you to come live to you tonight, and as always, share some content, share from our experiences and the things that we are learning, the things that we're teaching, the things that we're coming across. And so today, as we were getting ready and prepping for the show, we really felt like it was important for us to talk about being adaptable.
Yes.
Speaking of all of the different feeds is adaptable and being adaptability.
Well, and we have kind of leaned into what we've all been going through lately in our social climate, right? We talked about using your voice and getting out there and using that and making sure you vote in the election, whether or not you felt like your voice mattered or not, but really exercising that. And then kind of leaning into some of the other things that we've run into with managing the COVID-19 thing that we have going on and how to navigate fear and how to stay, connected. And so tonight, really, we're bringing you another one of those things, which is adaptability. Because in an ever-flexing world, it seems like especially from month to month, but from week to week and day to day, everything just is in a constant state of flex and adjust and figure out what's going on and being able to readjust and still hopefully navigate your life in the direction that you want it to go.
Absolutely. It is a challenge and there are so many different facets to our lives, and we are constantly developing, we're constantly growing, we're constantly coming against challenges that are very, very hard. Some of them are very painful. Some of them are hard for us to navigate through. Adaptability is one of those things that we really have to learn how to master or learn how to step into. The interesting thing about adaptability is we love, and we talk about this a lot, is we love our comfort zones.
Yes.
We love our comfort zone. We love being comfortable. We love staying in certain relationships or certain environments or certain styles or ways of doing. But the reality is that as a consequence of staying in our comfort zones, we never truly adapt. We never really progress. And one of the things that we're always talking about is we have to look at the challenges that we experience in our lives as opportunities.
Yes.
We oftentimes look at these challenges and they come across the screen, as we call it, the glass window that you're staring through, maybe a challenge with something we're seeing that we don't like, or maybe somebody's commenting or not commenting or whatever it may be that's coming at us. Even in life with our family and our friends and our social life and work, etc. And all of these things are constantly coming at us, which is change.
Right.
Well, if I love my comfort zone, if I love staying in my comfort area, then I'm never going to be able to progress and grow. And I will never see the challenges as opportunities.
Right. And, I'm sitting here thinking about all the other coping skills that we often talk about, the 8 essential coping skills, right? So I'm thinking about acceptance and looking for evidence, and all these things are just running through my mind as we're having this conversation. And I love that you bring up the comfort zone and how we are, especially I think in our generation, if I can just conglom the whole everybody that's on the world right now in a generation.
I like that.
We really are, like, looking at the span of our species, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're all within the same generation. And so then you look at humans across the eons, and if there is one species that's very adaptable, it's us.
Right.
We're built for adaptability.
Yes.
We are, and I love the science of like genetic and cellular regeneration, and how what is it that every 7 years we're actually completely different person.
Yes.
From your hair to your nails to your skin to even the makeup of your organs is completely different.
Cellularly, we are a whole new person.
Right. It's amazing. So when you really start to look at adaptability and looking at evidence about whether or not you or I or we are adaptable, there's plenty of evidence that shows that we are.
Right.
And yet it's still something that we really struggle against because of that change factor and how we love to stay comfortable. So I love that you've brought that in right out of the gate with that.
Yeah. And that ability to get out of our comfort zone has a lot to do with our ability to recognize if we are in our comfort zone. That's the one thing I see a lot with people is the concept of self-deception. And this belief that I'm out of my comfort zone when I'm doing big flamboyant things, or when I'm saying and doing things that may seem edgy or pushing the envelope or pushing my opinion out there in the world. And sometimes we think that's us getting out of our comfort zone, but in some ways it's really staying in our comfort zone.
Yeah.
Really, to know whether we're getting out of our comfort zone has a lot to do with, am I progressing as a human being? Am I learning as a human being? Most of the time when we're doing things which are commendable, I think it's amazing that people are pushing the envelope and they're trying to be a little bit more edgy and they're trying to do those things. These are great things. They're really great things. But are you learning something from them? Are you taking something with you and moving you forward?
Right.
And that's where all adaptability really lies. The majority of adaptability is in our capacity to learn.
Yes. So really it comes back to that notion that we've talked about often as well of being, is it coming reactive or am I creating it? Is this proactive?
Right. Am I a creator or a reactor?
Right. Because I feel like when you talk about, doing something to push the envelope or in the name of progression, right, and standing up for something or whatever that may be, if it's in reaction, then it probably is coming from that other places.
Right.
Where if it's solution seeking and you're looking to really progress and grow and move things forward, then it's going to be coming from that proactive spot.
Yes. Yep. And there's another piece when we step into adaptability, there's another piece that plays in here, and that's personality. And there are different personalities. Some personalities are more adaptable than other personalities. And some personalities, they can just kind of fit in anywhere they're placed. They just kind of pop right in and it's no big deal. And then there are some personalities that when you put them in a new environment or new situation, they flounder. They don't do well. They need support and they need,
it's very uncomfortable,
help, and it's very uncomfortable. And so there are some key elements here in helping us become more adaptable. And one of the things that we need to be doing and always should be looking at to become more and more adaptable every day is, number one is, am I learning? Am I learning something every day? Am I growing every day? And this is a real interesting question. A lot of times I'll ask these questions of big groups. And a lot of times I get kind of deer in the headlights of, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm learning. I don't know. And that I don't know, a lot of it comes from the fact that we're really not pushing ourselves. We're really not reading or studying or listening or communicating and having deep philosophical conversations and doing things that really push us to grow. Once I get my mind in that place of craving knowledge and wanting to learn more, then adaptability comes more naturally because I learn my way of becoming and progressing.
Yes. And I love that you said I learned my way.
Right.
Because you've got to be in that discovery space to even discover what your way is and what that looks like. And I love that you brought in, what is it that you, hang on, I just barely lost it. But you said, they don't even, like, some people are like, well, I don't even know if I'm learning, which brings us to for me, it comes to another space of in learning the skill of being more adaptable. Also taking the space to be in the present, to be in the moment that you're in. Because a lot of times for me, when I'm just like blowing through life and just execute, very reactionary, then I don't know if I've had any learning moments because I've not really been in any of the moments that I'm in.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So even if I am having learning opportunities, it's not in my awareness or coming across something that I would even be able to say, oh, wow, that's a place where I was adaptable.
Right.
This is where I was able to navigate this situation that was unfamiliar to me and that was a bit of a change. And this is how it worked for me, and really becoming curious and becoming a student of you, right? Because you're just not actually where you are.
Yeah.
You're in every other place, either in the future or in the past, or those are the two places that we go. There's no other place other than the now.
Right. Other than right here. And the more that we can get into that learning mindset, the more, like we were saying, the more adaptable. And the only place that we really learn something is by being in the space you're in, as you said.
Absolutely.
So one of the things I would challenge everybody to do is to really start either a process where every day as you're driving home from work, or maybe you're getting home from work, or wherever it is, laying down a bed at night, but take accountability for your day. Ask yourselves, what have I learned? Even going as far as having a learning journal or a notebook where you can write down some of the things that you've learned. What have I learned today?
I love that.
And the reason why that's such an important piece for us is, are you wasting your time? Like, time goes quick. And I always used to laugh when old folks would be like, oh, time goes so quick. I'd be like, oh, yeah. It's going slow for me.
Right.
You know, I'm like 15 and it's just creeping along. Now I'm 55 and it's like, it was like Christmas last week, and now we're about to have Christmas next week.
Yes.
So time goes quick. And the question is, are you using your time or are you wasting your time? This is your time to learn and progress. So one of the first things we have to do is we have to ask ourselves, what am I learning? The second thing that we need to do to become adaptable is we need to get perspective.
I love that.
We got to get perspective. We got to look around and recognize that our perception, our perspective is very small, very, very small. And kind of look at it like this: standing in a stadium, let's say the new stadium down in Las Vegas, it's Raiders Stadium.
The Raiders Stadium.
Right? And you got your seat. You're in section Z, clear up at the very, very top, row 35, seat 120 or whatever. I don't know. But as you're there and that whole stadium is full, you are watching the game, but your perspective is your perspective. Everybody's at that same game, and everybody's having these very same different, unique experiences. And you may think that your experience is the worst because you're way up in the nosebleeds, as we call them, or you may think your experience is the best because you got sideline tickets.
Right.
Who knows? But until you get some perspective, until you start looking that there's other views to the world, that there are other seats in the stadium, and that's probably the biggest problem we have, is we think that our seat is the only seat in the stadium. And because of it, we lose perspective. We have to recognize there are 1,000 seats in the stadium beyond that, more than 1,000.
Right.
I'm minimizing.
Because however many humans there are on this planet is however many different seats there are in the stadium.
Right.
Right?
But what's so fun is to watch people that think they know all the answers and they figure it out. The thing that's interesting is how hard they are on themselves, actually. And they're very self-critical. And because they don't look at other seats, they get very, very critical of themselves. Then they turn that judgment and criticism on those around them. Mm-hmm. And then those around them feel very judged, and et cetera, et cetera. All of that comes because there's a lack of adaptability.
Right. Well, that lack of perspective.
A lack of adaptability, mm-hmm. a lack of perspective. Mm-hmm. The more you can sit back and go, wow, this is my seat in the stadium, but somebody else has a different seat, mm-hmm. and my seat is just the same as theirs. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. That helps me become more adaptable and the ability to learn.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that. So can I throw in maybe one more thing?
Oh, please.
Even though you're the one that's really good at the 3-step processes, so who knows where this is going to go.
Here's number 3 by Kate.
But I think for me, something that really does help in the shifting changes and tides and as the wind blows us to and fro is really taking on that perspective of life being an adventure, and that it's not it's not the finished rehearsal, right? It's not even it is a rehearsal. What is that analogy that I'm trying to come from? That life is just a dress rehearsal. It's not a full-blown end-all production, right? Like this is our opportunity to figure out where the mistakes are.
Yeah.
To forget our lines and to run into our co-actors and make a big mess.
Yeah.
Right? To knock over scenery and to figure it out.
Right.
And so giving yourself a break with that and allowing it to be something that is in the state of flux, right? That isn't so solid and has to be so perfect that you don't have that grace. I'm always looking for grace for myself and for other people, right? That this is not the finished production. This is where we get to make mistakes. That really helps me navigate some of that ability to be adaptable.
Yes, very much so. Is probably our biggest downfall is the fear of making a mistake, right. Or the fear of being wrong, the fear of being bad, mm-hmm. And all of the shaming type of behaviors that are out there.
Right.
And as a consequence of that, we don't want our humanity to be seen. And because we don't want our humanity to be seen, we dive into that comfort zone, mm-hmm. which takes away our adaptability.
Right.
Yeah, well said.
And I think it forces us to, when we don't live that way, when we live in that perfectionistic lifestyle, to only look from our seat, to not have the perspective, right? It almost backs us into a corner feeling like we really have to navigate from that place.
Yeah.
Instead of understanding that we could take a walk around the stadium and put on a different costume if we wanted. I'm trying to mesh all of our analogies here right now. It's great. Not really working.
It's not. It's okay though. Keep rolling.
Right. Because we can be adaptable, right?
Yeah, adapt. Roll with it.
So I really love all the pieces that we've put together here tonight of being adaptable by, first of all, realizing when you are or are not in your comfort zone and being a lifelong learner, right? Like in our podcast, we talk about that a lot because we bring in a lot of things that we are learning and reading from when we talk about in the podcast. So being the lover of learning and always in the motion of progression, and then look at your perspective. Really see if you're only bringing in your bird's eye view, if you are in the Z section, right? Which has a lot of value, right? But so does the person right on the sideline who's right there and can really see the ball instead of those of us that can't really see the ball.
If you're way up
in the stadium, right? And then looking at life as an adventure and knowing that this is just a time to explore and to figure out what it is that works and doesn't work for you.
Right.
And there is no right or wrong way with that.
Yeah. And I love that last part that you're really bringing in. And it is one that I'm seeing a struggle with so much recently, is compassion, as you put it, grace. Compassion. Mm-hmm. There is so much need for grace and compassion right now in our world, especially with self. And we have so many expectations on ourselves of the way we're supposed to respond or react. And we're under this microscope nowadays, which is really concerning to me. I think about the mistakes I made when I was a kid that nobody knows about because there was no video record of it. Mm-hmm. There was no, posting something that I wish I'd never posted that will be on my timeline forever, or there will be some digital fingerprint to. And nowadays we're in this space where it's really hard for us to really adapt and grow. And so as a consequence, we get pigeonholed, number one, by ourselves because of our comfort zones or our inability to want change or grow or self-deception. And number two, we get pigeonholed by those around us that see us in a certain light and then begin to respond or react to their fears, their insecurities, their reactions, and then they pigeonhole. And so because of it, a lot of people are afraid to be themselves. A lot of people are afraid to show up into the world and be adaptable. And so compassion for self, compassion and grace for self, compassion and grace for those around you. This is really the key to moving us forward through what we're going through right now.
And really knowing that we've got this.
We do.
We really do. We are such an adaptable species. We can manage this.
We've been around for how many million?
I don't even know.
I don't even want to know. I don't want to misquote
so many, right?
I always misquote.
So we will survive and thrive through this together. But keeping all of these little tips and tools that we're bringing at you every Monday Night Live to hopefully increase your life for the better, to empower you, and to help you create and live your very best life. That's always what we're trying to do around here. So we love you guys. Have a wonderful week wherever you are, and we will see you next
Monday Night Live.
Bye.
Bye. I'll get it.
Oh, there's lots of comments on that one. Share video.
Everywhere. There we go.
Man.
Hey, everybody.
Comments
We did it.
We did it. We've just got one more coming up.
Which one?
Right over here.
There.
Like a product placement.
What's that?
Oh, this new YouTube stuff. This hasn't happened before, so that's cool. I love that. You know.
Okay, there's Kate Simmons. There's steps everywhere.
Hey, that actually looks pretty good.
It's not bad.
Hey, everybody.
So we have 26 views.
We did it.
We did it. We've just got one more. 26 views there. There we go. Actually, I would like to go out of all of this. Keeps rolling. There we go. Love that analogy.
Hey, everybody.
One comment,
We
21 We've
views.
just got one more coming up.
Which one?
Right over here.
There it is.
Well, welcome everybody to. I do like that YouTube angle because it made me look really buff. So here we've had, I don't see how many views. Oh, that's not tonight. Where's tonight's?
You gotta look and see what I was wearing.
Oh, there it is. It's like, damn. Jeff Christensen.
What? You've been walking upright for about 3 minutes.
I need lower back surgery. It's a wake up, take blood sugar, still high, dropping some weight. 2 things have been controlled. I've cut my painkillers in half alone. I've got the sugars down. Awesome, Jeff. No, he's just an interesting feller. This is last night, or the one where I had stuff in my teeth.
Oh yeah, I thought you were sucking on it.
That's great. Okay, well, we didn't get a ton of comments. We just got a ton of comments from one of our people.
Jamie and Jeff.
Right. Oh my God.
Come on. It's painful. So I am to answer all your questions today that I'm finally getting around to. I'm happy to get back in that email.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want me to just do that every morning?
Is there a butt coming or?
No, I was under the impression that Leah was doing it.
Oh no.
Okay. So
Where did you get that impression?
we had that conversation a while ago, so I was just rolling with that still. Okay, this isn't all right.
We had a conversation about it?
Yeah, that you were.
No, she was doing the one email. You were doing one, and Jill's doing one.
What was our thing? Adaptability.
Adaptability. Not that I need to be right, but you're wrong.
That's fine. I can be wrong. I'm super adaptable, by the way.
Super adaptable. Just in case anybody's curious. Yeah, Leah was doing TurningLeaf, or my TL, dnixontl at Gmail. And you were doing dnixontl, and Jill was doing TLD Nixon. And where I was struggling was some of the emails that were coming in weren't getting responded to. Well, we got one down.
Yay!
Very good, Simmons. Very good. Were all these papers on the top?
Yes. What?
This copy machine. Stupid piece of shit I got locked into.
I like the copy machine.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Yeah. I don't think it's a piece of shit, but it might be stupid and you might be locked into it. But
Do you know how much I pay a month for that thing?
wow. Lay it on me. Is it bad?
Oh yeah. Okay, it's horrible.
How much?
Yeah. Like, still. This is what I have to pay every month.
No.
Yeah.
That's obnoxious.
Yeah.
How long are you in this?
Yeah, 3 damn years.
From when?
I've got like a year left, I think.
From when we moved in here?
Right before, because I'm trying to get shit shut down. It was right before Doc died. And who was it? It was Krista. I was trying to, because we used to print off all of our handbooks for Crime for Life.
Yeah. So
it was worth it because we were pumping out like thousands, 10,000 plus copies a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so they